it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie to you, because Gen.G, they've got some tricks up their sleeve, and I already see that Breach is locked in once again.
Yeah, and Breach, North America, we don't see it a lot. We see it here, we see it from Shazam. I don't even know if Shazam uses it on this map. I think he does, but if not, what I notice is that a lot of Japanese teams actually use Breach on a map like on a map like Split, sorry. And even one of them, I think it's the one that won the last Rage Invitational, Japan Invitational, it's Jupiter, and Jupiter actually even goes Sageless with a Breach on this map. So very interesting, and the reason why is because the Fault Line and also the Rolling Thunder does a lot in terms of trying to clear sites from this mid side on the B heaven, but also on top of that inside the site on the A side. And it's going to start with a Fault Line onto B as Immortals are trying to hold it back here. Genghsta being healed at the same time. Paint Shells to take one down, but Jcstani and Dicey are going to work. GMD trying to stay alive. He's going to be now the, well, he was with player one, the last people standing, but it's going to have to be player one trying to clutch a 2 versus 1. Koler spots him at the staircase, falls back, gets a big paranoia, but there's still time right now on the clock for player one to try to clutch it.
Yeah, I'm just very confused at the agent selection, but we'll get into that later down the road. Player one in a 1v2, and Immortals feeling very good about this defender side, but player one, at this point, you just got to go in and see if you can get the job done. Headshot will connect onto Koler, but it's Dicey that will flank in from the side. And once we have a look at the scoreboard, I'll point out exactly what I'm talking about. Koler on the Omen, which is something that we usually see Jcstani on, but instead he's on the Sage. Asuna and Dicey, we understand those picks. And then Genghsta, we usually see him on the Sova playing on the Cypher. So a very interesting shuffle. I don't know if that's going to trip up Gen.G. I mean, I doubt it. I think they're just playing their game regardless and just trying to win, obviously. But a very interesting situation here that has kind of unfolded.
It's going to be now Gen.G trying to move as a unit. 3 guys crossing from the Brimstone smoke, and even you have the Breach moving forward. Another thing about Breach, it's not only the fault line, but it's the flashpoints that can actually help them get into the site. The thing is, Huynh got picked off a little bit, then healed, then picked off again to 20 HP, so the whole heal got nullified. So I'm pretty sure you're going to try to go for a fault line or a flashpoint into the A heaven so that Huynh could move in and get a shorty kill. But now with 20 HP, it's going to be so hard to go against Jcstani. On top of that, he has Dicey with him on a double stack pretty much, set up for a trade more than a crossfire. And now with the orb going down, the execution inside the A site. Koler is also in the back of the site. And there you go, Huynh already dead towards heaven. The rest trying to flow through, and they're just dropping. They can't even cross the ramp, and it's going to be a flawless round for Team Immortals.
That's a super important way to win that round as well. When you talk about the economy, they only need to buy abilities. And so, yes, Gen.G are coming in with the gun round, but imagine a world where Immortals shut them out here. Not in a flawless fashion, but at least in a way that they can have a 3-0 start, did not have to spend a dime on that second round. That would be the most optimal start for Immortals. Even more optimal would be obviously a flawless round, but considering Gen.G, the way that they play, they're going to look to trade, and they're going to look to try to force the issue. So current setup, Immortals aggressive towards the garage, as well as the peek down ramp. But mid is passive. That's going to allow Gen.G to at least try to push forward. Wall goes up as a result, and so they find an early pick with Asuna, and that's going to foil the plans of this push. While it worked out initially, and Dicey finds another one, it's all falling apart here for Gen.G.
Yeah, they tried to go aggro there, but unfortunately does not pay off. And it is now going to be the last 3 players all split off across the map. So player one has to try to get some sort of rotation from a pick towards this A side, because you see the Breach is heading over towards with Effys on this B side. I think Effys is just going to let himself get known as well from the camera. Camera spots him, breaks one trap wire, and now the cyber cage is up, but the second one is also not inside the site. And the thing is, you don't have to over-rotate because you have a numbers advantage. So somebody has to make plays, and it's going to be player one. So now they're forcing rotations back towards his mid, and if they could actually go for this double peek, and they will. So they get the double peek, they get the 2 kills, and now they reopen the mid side. They could split into A because they also have player one on that ramp. It's going to leave Dicey on his own that has to wait for his teammate to play the retake. So what a play so far for Gen.G. And now you have Dicey at screens, waiting for his teammate to flank from ropes.
Yeah, he's still going to take his time. That's the wall that's going to be going up to try to stop any of the push that will come from the defender spawn. But you all just got to look as Dicey. He's prepared, finds player one, going to swing once more, but it's down to the 1v2, and Genghsta, while taking his sweet time, has finally made it towards this heaven side. Now going to use that camera, see if anyone's down below. No one. They're back sight. It's the elbow. Eventually, he's going to have to drop, and that's going to make an audio cue. So he's going to try to at least take it the safer way. That's gonna be, he's going to see one there off to the side, and now they have to swing together. Flashpoint ready for the fault line, but it doesn't actually connect, but he can't get the spray transfer. GMD going to take him out. So a very close round, down to the 1v1, and that's what you want if you're Immortals. It's the gun round. That's where Gen.G are going to buy up. And yes, while they win, it's going to be a little bit of an awkward buy. They can't get everything that they want. A couple of pieces are definitely going to be missing. And so now, for the side of Immortals, they can still feel comfortable, maybe except Dicey, because he's not going to have armor, but we'll see how that pans out. He's going to be anchoring towards his B site. He's going to be looking into the garage. The moment someone peeks, it's either a miss or it's a hit. If it's a hit, it's a great opening pick for Immortals to dissuade the attack from pushing forward.
The reason why I say it was actually a nice try from Genghsta and a nice play was that he put the camera up on the A side on a 2 versus 1. Not only does he know that they're playing towards the back of the site, but when he drops, because he's masking the audible cue, switching over to the camera, it calls out the audible cue from the camera instead. So he could have played the 1 versus 1, got the spray, but couldn't get the kill. This time, though, it's going to be a Rolling Thunder into the site. Paint shells as well towards the counters, actually. That's dropping Huynh at the same time. So it's hard for the Gen.G actually team to get into the site because Jcstani lines up the last 3 for the kills.
Wow. What a play there from Immortals. And, you know, when you think about, let's just think about for a second Dicey holding that angle, right? With the fault line from GMD, what are you anticipating? That Dicey gets stunned up? Yes. I don't exactly know where the fault, it was the Rolling Thunder, sorry, you said, right? Was that Rolling Thunder towards heaven? Is that where
it was B main.
Is that where they sent it? It was B main. So, listen, Dicey was just in a great position to try to stop, and then he could get out of there with the tailwind. So, perfect play from him. It gave Immortals a lot of space to work with. And so now they're on the pistol here for Gen.G. Dicey's switched sights, looking towards this A side, but it's been smoked up. This is going to give them a lot of control to work up the ramp. Let's see how Koler deals with this.
Dicey unfortunately misses, but at least he has the Blade Storm. Right click onto Huynh as he was getting charged up. Everybody dropping here for Gen.G. There you go, Dicey. One more click onto GMD. An eco going in for this attacker side that doesn't pay off for them. So we're wondering what type of strategy we're going to bring here for Immortals. They're going back to pretty much the basics at this point, right? Because this is probably the scenario where, okay, who could actually play a Cypher? Who could actually play a Sage? Jcstani used to play a Sage whenever they kind of like dropped Yor, and then he came back, and then he tried to, or they tried to mix things around before they brought in Thief, and then he actually played a Sage for a bit as well. So now they're trying to use that towards the a map like Split, because probably since they never played that map, if they get the higher seed, they're probably going to try to ban that map first. And if they don't, well, they haven't really studied that much or practiced it that much to have a deeper Sageless comp or something like that, like they do in current maps right now. So going back to the basics seems to work for them there, especially taking the defensive side first. They're trying to build the confidence early.
I like this play from Immortals. You don't normally see players playing towards the rope side. Player one, he's going to find Asuna. Now trying to duel things out with Koler. Finds a 2-piece. That's going to be Jcstani trying to answer back, and he does. And so now boils down to the 2v2 with a hurt player one, Genghsta, holding on to this site well. Paranoia comes through. All he needs to do is just hold on. He's at the default plant spot. Now the rotation is going to come in. That orbital strike, yes, it clears out the back site, but Genghsta can still work his way through. They're going to plant there. All he needs to do is spray, but it's a quick trade. The up shot misses from Dicey and MkaeL. It brings it so close here for Immortals, but Gen.G make it through.
That has got to be a nice reaction shot there, coming from the eyes of MkaeL at the same time, too. That he actually swings a shot towards the heaven side to get that frag. And not only did they bring a breach, actually, we didn't get a chance to talk about it before, but Gen.G, they bring a breach into the comp, but they also bring MkaeL into into the map as a smoke, so a double smoke play here for Gen.G, and they don't have a Cypher. So Cypher at that point for this team, they've probably practiced it before where, you know, he used to play the Cypher for MkaeL into the side and basically towards a B side, but it's not enough, right? Getting a camera, getting trap wires, it's going to be easily breakable now that the Jet could actually dash through the trap wires too. So what they want to use instead is get the smokes, extra set of smokes, even on top of that, a paranoia to add on to the flashpoints for a better attack. They have the right composition right now for higher rounds here on the attacker side. But on the defender side, we're going to have to see how they want to readapt, though, by losing a Cypher in terms of information gathering.
Very unfortunate there for Koler, and that's going to be the denial of vision, but still, Genghsta will be taken out by the op. So I think this is an opportunity for Gen.G to just push forward. Site's clear. The rest of Immortals are going to be coming in from screens. The smoke off of Heaven denies the vision to look into the site, which gives them freedom to walk through. And honestly, this also sets things up for the Molotov 4-player 1. They put it in the exact spot that they're used to walking through, but they need to get there first if that's the case. And Dicey, he's holding down with the op. Going to be very difficult for him to get out of that position. That's going to clear things up. Dicey's out of the commission, and now it's just down to Jcstani, last member standing. It's MkaeL, shots ring through, and now it's Gen.G ever so slightly catching up on this defender side.
Yeah, we talked about we needed Huynh actually to start. You know, we actually talked good about Huynh, how he played on that previous map, being able to win versus Envy, dropping a 30 bomb before they brought it into overtime, and now he's only at 3-6. But the reason also why he's 3-6 is that they really only had one real gun round, or the second real gun round being the last round there. So they needed to bring the economy up, losing a pistol in second round. They finally bring that off in. So this might finally be the opportunity here for Gen.G to attack back and regain the lead on the first half, and then probably take the easier side. And again, like I said, we want to figure out how they're going to readapt to this strategy, not having a Cypher playing on split.
So Immortals, I like this play. Unfortunately, it's just Koler who's holding on to this A site. And there's a cheeky peek that comes in from the garage. They actually lurk their way through. Dicey's going to find one with the judge. And it's a pretty sloppy play. They're just trying to make it work here in the middle. And now it's just down to Dicey. He's going to find one with the judge there. Upgrades to the Phantom. And while Koler, the first contact point towards this A site, yes, he does fall. I like this scrappy play. I mean, it's a save round. It's the round where Immortals don't really have a lot to work with, and they still make it expensive regardless of the situation that they're put in.
Oh, the wide swing, and what a flick there from Huynh to actually land that shot onto Dicey. That was so sick. Yes, he actually died early and then got the res out from Effys, but definitely redeemed himself for that one from such a nice shot onto Dicey. Spots him, tries to dash away. Look at this. Sees him from the corner, peeking out. Boom, bop, down.
Great stuff. When, you know, you talk about a team like Immortals, you know, we had that interview with Koler saying we need an op on our team. Man, Gen.G, they're all right. They got their own op too, and Huyhn's really putting in some of those numbers, especially when the team needs it most. Tied up 4-4, gun round for both teams, and Immortals, lots of ultimates available. We'll see how many are spent this round, or if they're looking to save. But on the opposite side for Gen.G, it's the Rolling Thunder. This might be the selling of the fake, and it's just MkaeL. He's here on this lonesome, but maybe it's not even a fake after all. They find all the picks that they need, or at least one to start. And quickly, GMD's traded. Koler finds another, but it's complete control here for Gen.G of this A site. They've sacrificed 2 members. They've sold everything that they needed and spent 2 ultimates. So we'll see how many more are spent. That's going to be the neural theft. They really want to win this round.
Yeah, definitely. They want to regain that lead. They gave a chance for Gen.G to catch up, and like I said, they're taking the easier side for the Immortals, wanting to build that confidence, and it's slipping away. So getting that information right now, even into the shadow goes the Omen, and that's MkaeL. Or sorry, not MkaeL. It's going to be Koler trying to spot him. Jcstani, sorry, spotting him, and then Dicey moving forward with the knives, getting 2 kills. So with all that information, they're able to get those frags, but a molly that comes down just at his death. And I think he's going to get it.
Oh my goodness. No way.
Oh no, it's halfway.
No way.
It's halfway, thankfully.
Yeah.
He's got it.
They committed. That was close, though.
I love how they all started. It's like, oh my god, are we going to get it?
That seems to be the standard plant, though, for Gen.G. They get it in the corner, they want that Molotov, but let's have a look at Dicey, who I think's really come into form, especially in this series against Gen.G. The ops on bind, winning those duels consistently, and now being a power player for Immortals. Look at that, a 14 and 4. You know, you talk about the team and you look at a star player, your eyes directly go towards Asuna. You know, he's playing well. He plays out of his mind, and he's a young player that frags for the team. But Dicey has been a good, you know, stand-in player here for Immortals, who has had time to develop, and we're already starting to see him come into his own. So early looks for Gen.G. It's another setup towards A. They like this site, but they're trusting Dicey to at least win the duels. Shot's not going to go good for him, though. Switches to the shorty, and it's Huynh. He wins the duel, but it's Koler up above. He only finds one, and now here forces Immortals into the retake. That's something that Gen.G are definitely comfortable in. The post plant's good. Asuna, he runs in, he finds the frag. That's huge, but there's one up above, and he finds it too. It's Effys down to one final player. It's the breach. He can't find a single frag. Great play from Immortals in the retake. I was worried, but Asuna, hero, saves the day.
Yeah, it was definitely supposed to be Gen.G's round at that point. I mean, that's a second flick that we see from Huynh onto Dicey, but this time not with an op. It's going to be with the knives, the Blade Storm to get the kill. But when you're looking at it, they had a force buy going in for Gen.G. They gambled a lot into this round. They had 4 rifles and a Blade Storm. Look at that pick from Asuna, and it should have been a round 1. He had paint shells in the middle of a weapon switch and still wins that fight against Effys. But not only that, MkaeL had a great position. He shadow stepped towards the top of the balcony, and he still loses the fight from a rotation of Jcstani at the A ramp. So whatever is happening here for Gen.G is that they're probably not as crisp as Huynh is right now in terms of crosshair placement to try to get the round here. So Immortals are doing a great job with the low numbers that they have to still go for a good retake and take the lead now by 2, needing 2 more now to just secure the half on their side.
Dicey, a little bit of a sticky situation. Huynh on the opposite side. It's got the Phantom in hand, and this time the setup for Gen.G is to at least try to allow Huynh to maybe have some space. Can he find any of these picks on towards this A site? Meanwhile, the rest of Gen.G working their way up through the middle, and as a result, Immortals, that wall broken, the slow orb down, they're banking on this push towards the B site. But very easily, they could just sell this push towards heaven and go towards ropes, but instead they're committing. Qual line coming through. Huynn's just ready with the long-term flank. And as a result, Immortals, they're still banking on 2 members towards this A site, and so they're going to pull one off. Jcstani's going to find GMD. They're still pushing forward, and they haven't broken this defense. Asuna, going to be the first points of contact. Tags one, and as a result, the rotate might start to be called here for Gen.G towards this A side, because Huynh has gathered so much information and is already towards the defender spawn. That's one frag. Dicey now will take him out, and Gen.G in a very difficult spot, not sure where to go. They're all split, but the communication has not really worked out well for them, and as a result, Immortals, they hold fast, they hold the line, and they win the round.
Yeah, the play there for Gen.G mid-round was based off the play from Huynh. Huynh making it through the spawn, getting the first kill there onto Koler, who was trying to rotate back to assist Dicey. He gets the kill. He knew that Dicey was playing somewhere inside the site still, but still not sure where. Maybe it was the back of the screens, maybe at the elbow, as he likes to opt in from elbow into the site. But after that frag, he did actually predict that Dicey was going to be towards that screens. But after Dicey wins that shot, the guys that were rotating for Gen.G into ropes, like, holy crap, we can't go in there anymore. Dicey's still there. Dicey's not missing. They fall back, and then they meet Asuna on the flank from MkaeL. So they didn't clear enough on that mid side. They didn't lurk enough to try to get rotation kills, aside from the ones towards spawn, which gave the chance there for Immortals to just barely get that round. Not barely, I mean, really dominate that round. So we're going to move down to the last one of the first half. They do have the orbital strike and into the channels for the Omen at least, so they could get some information here for the team. But overall, they desperately need this round, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, Huynh working his way up through the ropes has had a lot of space. There was a lot of utility used towards the middle. And so as a result, I'm not sure Immortals anticipate a player having so much control. I mean, they're giving it respect. You see Koler, he's looking towards that angle, and you know, other players playing towards heaven, they have no idea. And so this support from Koler is great because now when he might be thinking he's like, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna take care of Dicey here. Instead, because Koler that ends up finding him, and Asuna as well to help things out. Now jumps through with the showstopper, has to spray things through. It's played well, but MkaeL finds one in the back line, uses the shadow step to at least get some more space for his team to get onto the site, get the spike down. If player one can get into that Molotov position, things will bode well for them.
Yeah, he's playing close to the window too, trying to catch his opponent off guard, but unfortunately did not know that Dicey was also rotating from the heaven side. So that is only going to leave 2 players, make that only 1. It was 2 players that had to win a 4 versus 2 versus Envy, but this time it is going to be the defenders on the retake that still wins this to win the half, 8-4. So 4 rounds for Immortals in the lead as they switch sides. It's looking good for them. It's still looking confident. Dicey's still top fragging at this point for the team. And they definitely need his aim, his op, to actually open up the defensive side of Gen.G.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about now this second half. And, you know, for a map like Split, we know that this caters towards this defender side. But last time at the PAX Invitational, when these two teams met, the last time they met on Split, Immortals, they won 5 attacking rounds. That's all they need at this point. So they can start off with a good pistol and push forward, but that was with Bjor. That's not with Dicey. The results may vary now here, depending on how the play is. And to be quite honest, Dicey, he's having one hell of a game. So we'll see how it unfolds. Gen.G stacking a little bit more towards this mid side, and 3 towards A, anticipating maybe at least 1, maybe 2. And so they're pushing up aggressively together to gather information. But on the opposite side, it's Immortals. They're just ready for this B side take.
Big retake play there for Gen.G. 2 dings coming through, 1 ding against him. So he's going to go for a self-heal for Effys, waiting for his teammates to come back. It's 2 on the spawn side, 1 to meet up on heaven. The wall towards mid, so you're forcing now MkaeL to go versus Koler. And it's going to be Koler getting the headshot. That's 1 player down for Gen.G, 1 man advantage for the Immortals, and a retake attempt coming in for the defenders.
Oh, Huyhn's getting so close, but the shorty, it doesn't work out. Effys will at least find 1 on the money, but he's the last player standing. They know exactly where he is, and Immortals, they win the pistol. Vansilli, this is so important for Immortals to try to close out the series. But once we get to that gun round, that is where things, I think, will change for Gen.G, and they will find some of their own momentum to close things out. You know, we talk about a map like Split. You even said it yourself. This is not a map that we've seen a lot out of Immortals, and when we have, it's been not the greatest, or at least, to some respect, 50-50, right? They have some good games, they have some bad games, but when you look at a team like Envy, or like Sentinels, like that's a map that they're comfortable on. You know, Cloud9 comfortable on Split. Immortals, it's not something that you say in the same breath. So early look at the round, it's an aggressive push towards A. Hope Gen.G are ready.
They saw it from the camera, and with that, they still decide to push because they're like, look, we know there's a stack, we have the numbers, let's try to move through, and finally they make it through, but to the expense of losing 3 players to shorties. Very expensive round so far for the Immortals. Low HP is going to be MkaeL that's going to move inside the Koler that's going to move inside the site to try to get the spike plan, but GMD now picks up the Bulldog, trying to shoot down, trying to get the spray, and the second one is actually spotted, it seems like here. So I think they still had some sort of trap wire as he walks across. It's a 2 versus 2. They know they're both coming from the spawn side. So you see the Immortals really sitting back up here on a better crossfire inside elbow. Camera to come up to, Koler to get the frag onto Chemo, and it's going to be Huynh, making it a 1 versus 1, and Koler to top it off with the 4K, 1 HP remaining. I said he was low HP into the site. He's low HP walking out of the site, and it's going to be the hashtag 1 HP if you're an old school CS player.
Oh, Gen.G, weapons now online, and of course for Immortals, it's the force up. What else can you do now in this situation? You lost a lot of weapons in that previous round. But Koler was the hero, constantly in the right position, and played that very well for the side of Immortals. But now this is the opportunity for Gen.G to start to lay on some rounds, start to catch up. 6 rounds in order to do so. Asuna will be expecting the swing here. Yes, I don't really know because there was 2. Probably wasn't expecting 2. So that early pick, very good here for Gen.G. And with Asuna out of the picture, could very well be the round here.
We're going to even try to re-push back into this, into the dark cover, where there's actually 3 players from the Immortals slowly walking through towards the ropes. Now one is going to dash away, but Jcstani peeks back out. They let up all the 3. They get the spray through the smoke, even though they're being fault line from the A side. Now the rotation coming down the ropes. Koler is waiting for them. Surprise! And now we have a 4-on-1, knowing that the last player is coming from the A side because of that fault line. Koler continues to lurk. Koler gets the entry onto that one, and we now have 2 more rounds for Immortals to upset, in my opinion here, Gen.G 2-0.
Wow. I mean, they beat them in the earlier stages of the bracket. It was the quarterfinal match to kick us off yesterday. And now, man, Immortals, they are the true dark horse. Nobody anticipated, in my opinion, them making it this far. You know, you had your Cloud9s, you had your Envies, you had teams that statistically you would, in a power ranking bracket, you would see, wait a second, win! That is how you start off a round.
Definitely a good start there. Taking 2 down for the Immortals. By the way, Simo, I'm just going to reiterate, I considered Immortals a dark horse. You could check the VOD for the pregame. But it is going to be now Immortals, as things have calmed down. They're going to try to work back towards this B side, Simo.
No, well, I mean, I totally agree. And you made me a believer. In those off times that we were off stream talking about it, you definitely made me a believer. And so now we're looking at yet another round. It's a 3v3. And when things look grim, Immortals are able to somehow just make their dreams come true. And it's very impressive to see it come to life. So now, we've got one in heaven. It's GMD. Effys, alongside player 1, are going to have to deal with this push from Garage. But Genghsta, he's reloading the clip. It's the perfect opportunity to swing, so they find 1. Now they still have to deal with Dicey, who's up above. We'll see how they deal with it. Now Dicey going to get out of position. Player 1 will take him out. Koler, all down to you. That's the paranoia. But do they anticipate he's from the opposite side? Finds player 1. Here's going to be the stick of the defuse. But Effys, he's going to swing. And it's Koler with the headshot. Koler. Oh my goodness. It is series points, Vansilli, for Immortals.
Simo, I just realized that I sort of contradicted myself too, because I did call that Immortals and Envy while we were talking about the teams being my dark horses of the tournament. Although, when we asked for prediction for this series, I did say it was Gen.G that was going to win 2-1. So who knows who's telling the truth now for my predictions. But no, nonetheless, Immortals definitely showing a lot of strength into this one here. We have to buy whatever we can for Gen.G. It's not looking good on their end. MkaeL does have a Vandal Elise as he's trying to break that boom bot on a great position on the top of the boxes to avoid the paint shells, but they go for a double peek through that, and that's the B defense opened up. So like I said, they don't have a Cypher. How do they adapt to it? They haven't really for Gen.G for the type of playstyle that Immortal has. Now they get the spike plan. They still have a lurker from Genghsta on this mid side. We do have the operator from Huynh. Oh my god, he's actually standing on the top of, you see, I think it's on a Sage wall himself for that Jet on the attacker side here of Dicey. And 2 guys towards the back of the site. Really no ultimates that could help Gen.G with the exception of the res to retake the site. So they do get that one. The flank comes through from Genghsta. They're getting 2 kills closer from actually winning this one. 1 kill closer there. Only the Brimstone or the Breach remaining of GMD gets collateral. Now it's a 3 versus 1. Pushing him forward. 2 on the heaven side. They get the kill. They upset Gen.G and they move on to the lower bracket.